just one night, and an entire season's harvest can vanish without a trace. That's not an exaggeration. It is the harsh reality unfolding across the southern United States. The dense grasslands that feed thousands of families are also the perfect hiding place for invasive wild boars, lying in wait for the right moment to destroy everything in their path. Wild boars aren't just aggressive. They are one of the most dangerous invasive species. They don't just tear up fields. They tear away livelihoods, trust, and the peace of entire communities. Today, our hunting team steps onto the front line once again, protecting every inch of land, every grain of rice with skill, discipline, and an unwavering sense of responsibility. As the first light of dawn breaks, we drive our Toyota Hilux straight toward the hotspot. The moment we arrive, the entire team quickly disembarks, pushing through thick grasslands where towering blades of grass swallow our field of view. The formation is deployed with precision, weaving between green brush and dense thickets, ready for the chase. In the stillness of the morning, every tiny movement must be read correctly. Accuracy in every trigger pull is a matter of survival, and we only take the shot when we are absolutely certain it's safe for both people and the surrounding environment. Then comes the opening blast. Instantly, the dark shadows hiding in the undergrowth erupt in panic, bolting in every direction in a dramatic, chaotic rush for escape. The herd of feral hogs moved too fast, forcing us to release the hounds, our four-legged partners trained to track, corner, and contain the target. Within moments, a burst of frantic barking echoed across the field. The team immediately advanced, following the signal. Under the pressure of the dogs, the hogs were pushed into an open pocket, and our precise shots closed in like a perfect pincer. At the edge of the field, where we planned to funnel the target, James and I stood perfectly still, eyes and ears straining to the limit. When the hogs finally appeared, years of hunting experience kept us completely calm. Every passing second could decide the fate of a family's harvest. This was not just hunting, it was protecting livelihoods, safeguarding the sweat and hard work of the farmers. The gunshots rang out, sending the herd into panic and forcing them to change direction, but they made the mistake of charging straight into Nick's zone. Every second, the distance closed, and just a tiny miscalculation in the point of aim could mean a missed shot against a target hurtling forward at breakneck speed. The fall of a single hog instantly sent the rest scattering like a disturbed swarm of bees. And remember, we only act when everything is legal, humane, and in accordance with the state's hunting regulations. After the fierce battle, a new alert came from the eastern edge of the field. Wild hogs spotted here. James immediately moved in. No target could escape his control. Each wild hog that is humanely removed helps reduce pressure on native species and prevents the spread of diseases within the ecosystem. As the evening light faded, we conducted a thorough sweep of the entire area before temporarily retreating. The zones bordering the forest still harbored lurking shadows, waiting for a chance to emerge and wreak havoc on the crops. But today, our hunting team had blocked every threat. This land is now peaceful, and the local people can rest easy without the fear of nightly raids.
La balle de mort.
Looking at the bounty piled high in the back of our Toyota Hilux, I felt proud. Every drop of sweat, every effort had not been in vain. Yet we know that the battle to protect the harvest is never truly over. With skill, experience, and teamwork, we are always ready to fight to the very last moment for a common goal, ensuring the people do not have to live in hardship. Wild boars, creatures that may seem harmless at first glance, have become a terrifying nightmare for countless rural farmers. They destroy rice fields, rip through orchards, and even attack livestock, causing more and more serious damage with each passing day. In response, hunting missions are being organized not out of thrill, but as a responsible action to help control boar populations and protect peaceful livelihoods. And today, we set out once again on one of those critical missions. What dangers await us in the wild this time? Join us on this intense, edge-of-your-seat hunt right now. This time, we chose a vast hillside in the U.S. to track down wild boars at the break of dawn. The terrain is rough, densely wooded, and every shadow could be hiding a beast. All gear had been thoroughly checked, guns loaded, hounds sniffing, and eyes sharp. Just past a small slope, a rustle broke the morning stillness from down the hill. We froze. A massive boar emerged slowly from the brush. Its size alone could make your heart skip a beat. Wasting no time, I raised my rifle and held my breath steady. Bang! The shot shattered the silence. The boar let out a thunderous growl and collapsed. A perfect opening to what promised to be an epic hunt. That first gunshot echoed through the woods like a warning. Suddenly, from the opposite forest line, a herd of panicked boars burst out, crashing through trees, scrambling uphill to flee. I spun around, locked onto one of them, and fired. Direct hit. It staggered midway up the slope before collapsing. The rest kept running, leaving behind broken branches and chaos. No hesitation, I followed the trail left by the herd. There they were. I lifted my rifle, steadied my breath, and aimed with care. One precise shot, one more target down. The boar struggled for a moment, then lay still. Another trophy claimed, but the hunt wasn't over yet. Meanwhile, at the forest's edge, my teammate was combing through dense undergrowth. Out of nowhere, a giant black shape exploded from the bushes, charging forward at an insane speed. Instinct kicked in. Jack raised his rifle and fired. Boom! The beast was hit, tumbling over and rolling several times before crashing down. The hill hunt had come to a breathless, adrenaline-filled close. With the hillside sweep completed, we shifted toward the open plains. The ATV rumbled across the cracked, dry earth. The hounds were unleashed, barking wildly. The chase was on again. Our weapons, trackers, binoculars, everything double-checked. After driving a few hundred meters, a massive boar suddenly appeared, charging straight toward me. I didn't flinch. I raised my rifle, braced myself, and aimed. Boom! The sound echoed across the silent plain. The creature was hit, staggered a few steps, then dropped. Dust exploded into the air. We pressed deeper into the field, carefully stepping through low shrubs. Suddenly, a bush shook violently ahead. I dropped low and tightened my grip on the trigger. A boar burst out, sprinting for its life. Right at that moment, I fired. The shot landed square on its flank. It was over. Not far off, from the opposite side of the field, I spotted my teammate taking aim. His eyes locked on another monstrous boar. He didn't hesitate. The shot rang out with power. The beast howled and dropped, thrashing for just a few seconds before going still.
Seguiremos con finca cada gestión, que es el único camino que hay. Y algo...
This hunting expedition was more than just a face-off with danger. It was a showcase of teamwork, courage, and razor-sharp skills. Every move was carried out in strict accordance with local wildlife laws and regulations. There are serene lands, but deep within, nature churns with relentless ferocity. Wild boars are not just creatures of the wild, they are a silent threat to crops and human livelihoods. Across America, fields lie ravaged, barns stand in ruins, and forests are devastated by these animals. Their presence signals an unforgiving battle, and we will not surrender in this fight. Will our skills and experience be enough to reclaim control from these growling shadows? Join us to find the answer right now. Kicking off today's hunt, we venture into towering Rocky Mountains, where rugged terrain and dense thickets obscure visibility. After checking our equipment, organizing the team, and coordinating communication positions, the group begins moving along the steep slopes. From a distance, at the base of the cliff, I catch a glimpse of a wild boar lurking behind dry grass. Without hesitation, I get into position, raise my rifle, and prepare for the confrontation. Patiently waiting and aiming directly at the boar, I pull the trigger. With a single shot hitting its weak spot, the wild boar collapses, instantly unable to react. It seemed like everything ended with the first shot, but no, it was only the beginning. Suddenly, the rustling of dry leaves echoed. Another wild boar was charging toward me. Without hesitation, I took aim, and when the moment was right, I pulled the trigger. The bullet struck the boar's body, sending it tumbling down the cliff before it went completely still. Not far away, on another cliff, my teammate John was locked in a fierce struggle. 3 wild boars burst out from the bushes, fleeing in the opposite direction of his ambush. But in a split second, John fired 3 precise shots, taking down all 3 before they could escape. After hearing the decisive shots from John's direction, the team realized he had finished his pursuit. Without delay, Tony decided to navigate along the rocky slope and climb to a higher vantage point to survey the situation. From above, he spotted the dark silhouette of a wild boar weaving through the tall grass, charging straight toward him. Without hesitation, Tony raised his rifle and fired. 2 precise shots, and the boar collapsed right in front of him. Contrary to our stealth, the forest began to echo with sounds signaling another battle about to unfold. Among the trees, the rapid, forceful stomping on ground grew louder. Suddenly, a massive black shape darted past like lightning, a large, powerful wild boar charging like a whirlwind. I gripped my rifle tightly. Cold sweat trickled down my spine as heavy breaths filled the air. The boar weaved through the underbrush, disappearing and reappearing in flashes. After a few seconds, it fully emerged between the trees. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The deafening shot shattered the silence. The beast collapsed, motionless. The forest fell quiet again, save for our ragged breathing. We ventured deeper into the forest, known to be a favorite haunt of wild boars. As expected, there was little time to catch our breath after the previous shot. Another boar appeared not far away, moving through a clearing in the woods. I took cover behind a small tree, raised my rifle, pressed it firmly against my cheek, steadied my breathing, and when the moment was perfect, I pulled the trigger without hesitation. The shot rang out, clear, sharp, and decisive. The beast staggered from the impact and collapsed motionless. Other boars scattered chaotically through the forest, and my teammates worked swiftly to take down as many as possible. At the same time, a few hundred meters away in the western part of the forest, my teammate was engaged in his own intense battle. Before him, a wild boar charged forward, its hooves crunching through the dry leaves, shattering the forest silence. His eyes locked onto its every move, the barrel of his rifle tracking the boar like a shadow. At the precise moment the animal stepped into his crosshairs, a decisive shot rang out. Without hesitation, the beast halted, then collapsed onto the leaf-covered forest floor. We decided to head back before dark, carrying our trophies. Hunting wild boars isn't for sport, it's a mission to protect ourselves and the local community. There's no recklessness here, only experience, preparation, and the resolve of seasoned hunters. All activities strictly adhere to legal regulations and prioritize safety. In the grasslands of the southern United States, wild boars descend in droves every night, tearing through cornfields, ravaging crops, and leaving farmers in despair. These ferocious beasts not only cause economic devastation, but also pose a threat to the safety of livestock and people alike. Determined to protect the harvests and eliminate this menace for the local community, we embarked on an all-night hunting expedition. The entire journey was captured vividly with an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Will we succeed in stopping these notorious destroyers in their tracks this time? Join us to experience every thrilling moment right now. As the sun began to rise, we headed toward the vast plains, a feeding ground where wild boar herds often roam at dawn. Our team traversed the endless fields in a Tesla Cybertruck. My comrades and I double-checked our rifles, ammunition, and essential gear, preparing for a confrontation with the massive, monstrous herd. As we sped across the flat expanse of the field, the ground suddenly trembled with rhythmic thuds. Sensing a hefty herd of prey ahead, my teammates slammed on the brakes. Before our eyes, a massive herd of wild boars charged forward, as if they'd caught wind of the hunter's presence. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, locking the largest beast in my crosshairs. Holding my breath, I pulled the trigger, and a deafening shot tore through the air. Instantly, the monstrous creature collapsed, thrashing wildly, while the rest of the herd scattered in all directions. Seizing the moment, my teammates swiftly tracked the fleeing prey, their rifles following each desperate movement, picking off the boars one by one. A near-perfect start to today's hunt. Determined to track down the escaped herd, I used the GPS device to lead the team deeper into the plains. Suddenly, a lone boar broke from the pack and charged toward us. It stopped dead in its tracks, glaring at me as if daring me to act. My heart pounded as I gripped the rifle tightly, aiming straight at its head. A deafening shot rang out. The beast reeled backward, collapsing in defeat, completely subdued. Before we could catch our breath, not far off, my teammate had already zeroed in on another target. From a distance, it barreled through a clearing, mud and dirt flying under its frantic hooves. John took a deep breath, pressing the rifle stock against his shoulder, his eyes locked on the target. A shot rang out, the bullet piercing the beast's leg, causing it to stumble and drag itself in a desperate bid to escape. Without hesitation, a second shot echoed. Critical hit! John shouted. The massive creature collapsed, leaving behind an eerie, chilling silence. After taking down the last of the prey on the plains, we swiftly checked our gear, reloaded our rifles, and moved into the nearby forest, a perfect hideout for the wild boar herds in this area. Who do you think will emerge victorious in the battle about to unfold? We hadn't moved far when a sharp sound shattered the silent air. Our team leader signaled everyone to hold position. From the thicket ahead, a massive wild boar suddenly burst through, leaving a trail of snapping branches in its wake. Acting on instinct, Nick raised his rifle to his shoulder, tracking the beast's path with precision. The crack of the trigger echoed, and the bullet struck true, piercing the creature's massive body. It lost momentum, skidding across the dry grass, leaving a long, stained trail behind. Keep moving, my team leader said. About 10 minutes into our trek, a dangerous situation unfolded. A massive wild boar burst from the thicket, roaring and charging straight at me like a living arrow. The distance closed in an instant. Heart pounding, I barely had time to raise my rifle, align the sights, and pull the trigger. The bullet pierced clean through its forehead, and the sheer momentum of its charge sent its heavy body crashing down right at the tip of my boots. Continuing our journey, barely 10 minutes later, the forest erupted with grunts and the thunder of frantic hooves. A herd of wild boars was barreling through the dry thickets like a flood tearing through the silence. I spun around, quickly aimed at the one in the middle of the pack, and pulled the trigger. It dropped instantly, while the others scattered in panic, their clamor echoing through the depths of the forest. After hours of intense pursuit deep in the forest, exhaustion began to set in. We decided to retreat, following the narrow trail back. But just as we were heading out, a lone wild boar suddenly darted across our line of sight. Instinct kicked in. I raised my rifle and fired. The first shot grazed its shoulder. Not letting the beast escape, I quickly pulled the trigger again. The second bullet struck true, and the creature staggered before crashing to the ground, completely subdued. Nightmare for the people. They ravage fields, destroy crops, and even attack livestock, causing severe economic losses for local farmers. That's why the local authorities reached out to us with a request for today's hunt. Our entire team decided to take on this special mission, not only to protect the harvest, but also to face one of the most dangerous creatures head-on. Will this perilous journey deliver the results we expect, or will we return empty-handed? Let's follow the full course of today's hunt. We began our pursuit, crossing snow-covered trails on a specialized vehicle to enter the northern forest. The temperature dropped sharply, the thick snow making every step harder than the last. The team double-checked guns, ammo, and GPS devices, while the hunting dogs were released to pick up the scent. Everything was ready. The hunt in the snowy forest had officially begun. In this terrain, high vantage point is the perfect ambush spot to observe the snow-covered forest below. I climbed quickly onto a large boulder, set up my own hunting post, and waited. Only 5 minutes later, movement broke the silence. A target suddenly dashed through a clearing between the dense pines. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle and aimed. The gunshot shattered the stillness of nature. The beast stumbled, collapsing beneath an old snow-laden pine. A perfect start to the hunt. Meanwhile, at another position, my teammate Jack faced off against a monstrous boar charging straight at him like a battering ram. Without flinching, he steadied his aim and pulled the trigger. The blast echoed through the snowy forest. The beast flipped backward, body trembling before falling still on the white snow. Just when we thought it was over, another gunshot thundered from the right. On the opposite slope, Nick had just fired at a massive boar scrambling up the icy cliffside in a desperate attempt to flee. The bullet struck. The beast faltered, then slid helplessly down the slope, leaving behind a crimson trail against the pure snow. Determined to pursue the rest of the herd, we pressed deeper into the forest. Suddenly, another target burst through the trees, darting with incredible speed. I steadied my breath, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. The gunshot cracked sharply. The bullet landed true, and the beast collapsed instantly. Before the smoke even cleared, another hulking shadow charged toward the fallen boar. Whether a mate or a companion, I couldn't let the chance slip by. I raised my rifle and fired again. The boar staggered, stumbled a few steps, then collapsed beside its fallen kin. We continued along a narrow trail leading to the forest's edge. Only minutes later, in a windswept clearing, another lone boar wandered unsuspectingly. No hesitation. I adjusted my scope, fired, and the bullet struck home. The beast crumpled into the snow, helpless against the merciless cold. After combing the snowy forest, we spotted fresh tracks leading up the northern slope. It seemed the herd had climbed higher in search of food beneath the ice. Without delay, we packed up, tightened the dogs' leashes, and began our ascent. The air grew thinner, the wind bit harder, but ahead of us lay the true challenge, a mountain hunt in the snow. After a few hundred meters, the dogs barked furiously, signaling a target. From afar, a massive boar appeared against the snow, heavy but wary. I steadied my aim through the scope. One shot. The blast echoed across the mountainside. The beast faltered, staggered, then fell, its huge body etched into the frozen ground. A sigh of relief swept through us. One less threat, and this year's harvest would be safe from destruction. Suddenly, my radio crackled. "Target to your right." I swung my gaze toward the snowy ridge. A boar darted quickly across the slope, desperate to escape. In a split second, I fired. The shot rang out, and the beast dropped mid-stride, lifeless against the icy wind. Exhausted after hours of pursuit, we began heading back. But out of nowhere, a monstrous boar charged straight at me, fast enough to topple anything in its path. I stepped back, steadied my aim, and pulled the trigger in the decisive moment. The gunshot thundered. The beast faltered mid-charge, tumbled into the snow, and lay still as its heavy breaths faded away. The brutal hunt in the snowy mountains had come to an end. But our mission to protect the forests and farmlands will always continue. Every shot fired today was within the designated hunting zone under strict compliance with regulations. If you want to keep following these intense and challenging hunts, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another showdown between hunter and beast.